In this video, we'll cover requirements, best practices, and recommendations for professional network installers when planning and installing network infrastructure for Rezku POS. Advisement. Restaurant owners, we recommend the services of a professional licensed commercial network installer familiar with networking best practices and site evaluation. Your network installer and/or network administrator will be your primary point of contact for network-related service issues. The intended audience for this information is professional commercial network installers setting up medium to large client sites with 10 or more POS system devices. Rezku POS system hardware and technology. Since you will be setting up the network for our hardware, let's start with a list of what the Rezku POS system consists of. There are both wired and wireless devices. Plan the equipment layout with the client so that Ethernet and Wi-Fi are provided where required. A stationary POS consists of an iPad that connects to the network over Wi-Fi, a receipt printer that can be connected Bluetooth, but an Ethernet connection is required for advanced features, a card reader that connects over Bluetooth. A mobile POS consists of an iPad that connects to the network over Wi-Fi, a stationary printer that may be shared between multiple mobile POS units and must be connected over Ethernet. In the kitchen, multiple printers will be placed at different stations in the kitchen and must be connected over Ethernet. There may be additional kitchen display tablets that can be either Wi-Fi or Ethernet connected. POS network requirements. The POS system needs a dedicated local network with a unique IP address range, isolated from any other networks on site. POS devices should only be given access to the dedicated POS network. For PCI security compliance, the dedicated POS network must be isolated from guest Wi-Fi, office computers, security systems, media, music, or jukebox systems, and any other non-POS related devices. vLan versus separate POS network hardware. Assuming the location has additional on-site requirements for networking, non-POS devices such as office computers and security systems, you have a choice of either utilizing a separate dedicated network with routers and switches, or you can set up a vLan to assign devices to their respective network. The choice is likely influenced by whether it is a new construction or if you are building on top of an existing network infrastructure. Existing network infrastructure versus new construction. Every client site is unique and requires your professional evaluation. However, there are some rules of thumb that can be applied depending on whether it is a location with existing network infrastructure that will be kept in place or new construction, which offers more freedom. Network recommendations for new construction. A managed vLan approach is recommended to support connectivity of both POS and non-POS devices on isolated networks. Establish with the client the location of each POS station. There should be a power outlet, an Ethernet wall port, and locally placed Wi-Fi access points available near each station. It is incumbent upon the network installer to properly label all ports, patch panels, cables, and switches in accordance with industry best practices. Locate the network cabinet in a convenient area relative to the cable runs and incoming ISP service hookup. Existing network infrastructure recommendations. Building on top of an existing network infrastructure naturally adds more complexity. Install separate, dedicated POS-only router, switches, and Wi-Fi access points in parallel to the existing network. Be sure to instruct the client not to plug non-POS devices or cables into the POS network. Ensure that any pre-existing cable runs used for the POS network are operating reliably. Label ports, switches, and patch panels used for the POS network so they can be easily identified separately from other systems. Ensure placement of network drops are sufficiently close to POS stations and kitchen printers. Try to limit long exposed cable runs. Secure exposed cable runs using approved clips and never staple or pinch Ethernet cables. In a hectic service environment, network equipment that is placed in operational areas can easily become unplugged and disconnecting their devices. To address this, attempt to limit the number of network switches used in the design and place network hardware so as to avoid being unplugged or damaged during operations. Wi-Fi access points and placement. Getting wireless access point placement right is extremely site-specific, but we can follow a few guidelines. Conform your access point layout to industry best practices, taking into account the building's layout, materials, and potential for interference. Stationary and mobile POS iPads need a stable, reliable connection over Wi-Fi. Access points should be installed in proximity to where these devices are operating. If handheld tablets will be used in an open dining area, place the access point high to maximize line-of-sight coverage. If handheld POS tablets will be brought outside to serve the patio, make sure there is sufficient outdoor coverage and utilize weatherized access point hardware. For oddly shaped areas with stone walls or separate rooms, additional access points may be necessary to achieve good coverage. Keep in mind sources of interference. Use a Wi-Fi signal analyzing utility to check coverage and monitor interference from competing Wi-Fi signals. Indoor sources of electromagnetic interference include refrigerators, ice machines, microwaves, and blenders. Outdoor interference can come from power lines, cell phone towers, broadcast radio transmitters, and Wi-Fi spillover from neighbors and nearby businesses. Local interference can also come from too many access points in a small area, so be careful when planning access point locations to keep a sufficient distance. Incorporating network redundancies. For restaurants, the point of sale is a critical business system. It may behoove the client to install failover systems for internet and power. For internet, an LTE failover device can be added as a backup if ISP broadband service is interrupted. For power, UPS battery backups can be added to the network and POS devices to both clean up the electrical signal and provide power during short-term blackouts, avoiding the need to reboot network devices to get them back online. We hope this video has provided you with valuable information for planning network infrastructure ahead of installation. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact our technical support team directly. Together, we can plan for the success of our client. Thank you for watching.